Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here at Painted Studio. I am back from the Society of Gilders Convention. I am so happy to be home. We had a great time there. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay, excuse me, for the whole thing. I needed to be back here in the studio, but I do have a few things to share. Now let me just check and make sure I'm live on my own page. Yes, I am. And I'm hearing myself in echo because I forgot to turn off the volume on my iPad. All right, let me make sure that the comments are on. Okay. So, like I said, I was down in Asheville, North Carolina for the last 4 or 5 days at the Society of Gilders Convention. Now, as you know, we carry several gilding products, so we were fortunate enough to be able to donate to the gift bags there and to a class or two to give them products to try. We're very proud of our products here. The Whitson's Universal Lacquer for leaf and metals. We brought down there. We brought the Roberson's acrylic gold size. We had some really fun, positive feedback on our products. And then I also got the chance to take a class while I was there. So I was very excited about that. So the class I took is something called gilding with shell leaf. And did I bring the wrong bag? No, I brought the right ones. Thought I brought the wrong bag out of my pile of stuff. I'm going to switch the camera down for a second after I give a little explanation of what this is. I'm not going to give you the whole spiel of what I learned because it's very complex and it was very cool. We learned to dye a paper with a load of different organic materials, some of them permanent, some of them very, very much not light fast, meaning that in the light they will fade a great deal. But then we learned the process of making the gold for shell leaf, which is gold that is used to paint in illuminations, religious texts. A lot of them are Islamic and Turkish and Middle Eastern, but they're also used in things like Gothic text and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very cool. We really had a super time with it. And basically what you're doing is taking true gold, silvers, whatever metals, and grinding it into a fine paste and then cleaning up what you've ground and pouring that very, very small amount of metal into shells, because that is the traditional way of doing it. You can pour it into glass bowls or whatever, and letting the final bits of moisture evaporate so that you have this pure metal that you mix then with a little binder and a little water and use to paint with. I'm going to flip the camera down so you can see the little bits of that I did. I'm not showing you my art pieces. They aren't complete. I will be going back to them, but these are the shells that I use. Now, you all know I went to Cape Cod, so I picked up some shells, and actually some of my shells were generally too big for the way this is used. But in here you can see that dirt, what looks like dirt in here. Let me zoom in here a little bit so you can see better. Here we go. We'll go down in here like this. Things like this little dirty looking thing, it looks almost like it's an ashtray. That's Kaplan gold in there that was ground super fine. And you can see I can take it off there with my finger. And that the reason that's coming off in powder like that is because I threw all my shells together in a bag. I did not do anything to take care of them to make sure they got home safe and sound. I have a lot more gold here that I can work with, and I understand the process, so I wasn't too concerned about that. And believe it or not, there's still a lot more gold in here for me to work with. I scrape it out and put it in a small container, mix it with some water and a binder, and I can paint surfaces with it. Now, the cool thing with this is once you've painted with all of this gold or silver, whichever you're choosing to use, once it dries down, you can take a burnishing stone and rub it and it gets shinier. This, I believe, no, this was the Kaplan Gold. See, I was smart. I labeled my shells because I can't remember anything. So this was Kaplan Gold. This one must be Palladium. This one was Palladium. This is 24 karat gold. This one in this messy oyster shell. This is another thing I discovered. The shells that I want to use for this kind of thing, if I want to do it in actual shells, oysters weren't a great choice because it's really rough inside and it works better with a smooth one. I also had a shell that as I was scraping out the metal, I was actually scraping out bits of shell too. So it was a really interesting learning process. The things that I think I learned the best in the process simply were to pick better vessels. But this has 24 karat, 23 karat red gold. You can barely see it in here because it's so white in it, but this is silver. So you just scrape it out, you use your materials, blend it together with the binders and the water, paint it on the surface, let it set up, and then you take a stone burnisher. If you're familiar at all with gilding, it's an agate burnisher. We were gifted some burnishers in our class, and you rub it and it gets shinier once it's dried. It is a beautiful, beautiful process. Like I said, I'm not going to share how I did all this stuff because quite frankly, it is a very new process to me. So me teaching it to you would be like having a first-time cook teach Julia Child's recipes. But I will be working on this in the background. I intend to develop some skills in it. It was a fantastic class. I learned so much and I really, really enjoyed it. All right, we're gonna set my shells out of the way here. Should probably just pack them up and get them ready to go move to the new studio. And yes, if you haven't heard, we are moving. Let me move things around again. So we're gonna put these Halloween signs back up because we're gonna keep working on the last bits of them. Let me angle me a little better. We have the last bits of this to work on. I have a farmer's market to be going to this week, so I need to get these done. So we're finishing up these, and I can't move things enough out of the way right now. I left town in a mad dash, and it's catching up with me. So as you can remember, we did these skulls last week. We did, I think this one is Serpico snake. I think the gold is the Serpico, Shiva is the silver. On the top head. On the second to the bottom, we used Wild Thang. And now we're going to move into silver, so we're going to pick up some other colors. And I think what we're going to use here is, which one is this? Wild Leopard Silver. So I'm going to take a nice sized piece of that. Okay, now I know what, there's my scissors. I put the sign right on top of them. I'm trying to keep in a reasonable color scale and tone for this because I could go with a lot of other things, but I want to keep it all animals, and I want to alternate patterns so that they're all not, we're not all cat patterns, we're not all this, we're not all that. But I'm really, really loving this. And the Wild Leopard is a terrific one that will look great in between these. Now I am feeling right here along the edge because I don't want to accidentally scratch my snake pattern here. So I'm going to come back in, give a little scrub around all the edges, but like I said, I am feeling for where the edge of my adhesive is so I don't accidentally scratch any of the other foils that I've already laid down. I'm on a bit later than I normally am today, so I feel very scattered today. It's the first day back from being away. And I have to tell you, if you're at all interested in Gold Leaf Society of Gilders, they are a great bunch of people. They're very welcoming. The class is open to all kinds of people. I had people who had never worked, I saw people who never worked with Gold Leaf in the same classes with people who were absolute experts. I consider myself a moderately experienced gilder because there are people there who are just know the ins and outs of every little bit of gilding. So if you have any interest in doing something like that, I highly recommend joining the Society of Gilders and attending one of their conventions. Now, their conventions are generally only every 2 years, so it's not, you know, it's really a special thing when you get to go, and I missed the last one. All right, look at how cool that looks. Oh, that is awesome. That is fantastic on there. Let me get in here, catch a little crack, see if I got any little other missed spots. Oh, this looks so good. Now, I am going to offer up the option for this bottom one. We can go with silver leopard. We can go with koi cheetah in silver, or we can use the silver snake. And I am leaning heavily towards the silver snake, which I left over here earlier today. So I'm going to go grab it. Where did I put it? I put so much stuff away, I forget where I put things. I think these dark patterns, I don't want to go too bright, and this is looking particularly Halloweenish. I think the next one being the Shiva snake, which is a silver snake pattern, would be ideal on here. I'm really loving this as an idea. So let's put this one right in the center of the screen. Let me cut here. And this is a very different pattern from our Serpico. Whereas the Serpico is a bigger and bolder snake pattern, this one is a little more translucent. It is a smaller repeat, and when we're done, I'll hold this up so that you can see the whole thing. But again, fantastic release with these, and if you don't know what I mean by release, look at how much pattern came off of our foils. There is not a whole lot left from where we put that leopard down. Move that to the side so it doesn't get stuck on anything. And again, we are sized with Artsyville foil adhesive on here. It has set up for a minimum of an hour. I think this one I did when I walked into the studio today, so it's set up for 6 hours. And foil has a pretty side and a not so pretty side. Now on this one it's a little harder because it's translucent. So on this side, it's the shiny side up and the matte side down. So let us put this down here carefully. I want it to cover the whole thing. I want a nice even transfer. And you're going to see it's kind of dark on here when we pull it back because it will release differently than that Serpico gold, which is much more opaque as a snake pattern. But I think these are going to be fantastic Halloween-y kind of looks. I'm getting notifications that my Wi-Fi is low, so if we lose things, I apologize. Hey, Mary and Aliette and Claudette and Beverly, thank you so much for popping in. So again, the sign is, I picked this sign up over at Michael's. They have them there. I hope they still have them. I mean, they were stuck to the eyeballs with them last week when I bought them. So they should still have plenty in stock. We painted this one black set coat both sides. And I am looking at this. This is looking so good. Let's see how it comes. Oh yeah. I need to do a little bit more right there. So you can pull your foil up and see that it's releasing nicely, and then you can come put it back down if you find that there's a spot that you need a little more attention to, like I saw right there. Look how great this looks. And there's a little bit right here and right here that needs some attention. So I'm going to come right in there, come right in there, give it a little extra scrub. Again, I must be scrubbing badly today because I don't usually have to keep going back like this. But look how fantastic that is on there. Now, there's a little spot right over here, right along the edge. I want to see if I can get it lined up so I get the pattern in it. I could touch it up, you know, kind of just wing it, but it's always better if I can get it matched in. There we go. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Take a look at that chin. Maybe I want to go back in with the chin a little bit. Because you saw how great the leopard was, so obviously I am doing just sort of a half-assed effort on getting this on here today. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not doing it as well as I could be. There we go. Some days I'm really on it. Some days I'm not. There we go, much better. Missed a few spots there. So look how fantastic that snake pattern is on there, very dark. Compared to the Serpico Gold up here, which is bright, this Shiva snake on here on the bottom, super dark. I love it. A little bit of gold flecks coming on here because I'm clumsy with my gold leaf. I can kind of do a little sticky and get it off. There we go. All right, I love this. Now, remember, we have these patterns on this side, and then turn it over, and it is super crazy on the other side. Fun, fun, fun. We'll seal this one up after I finish the pumpkin one, because that will protect all of our finishes on here. And let's see. Now, I had a kind of few skip spots here on this pumpkin piece that I did in the neon. So I'm taking a little extra piece of neon. I kind of brushed on a little foil adhesive randomly. Now that may be good, that may be bad, because this is a translucent foil. Our neon is translucent, so it might cause some texture changes. We're going to find out. Might cause some color changes, but I have to be careful because I've also got foil adhesive there. Now again, if I were smart, I wouldn't have done this the same day I was doing the other pumpkins, but some days I'm just not my smartest. So we may have some unevenness in the color, which actually could look really good on this, because I'm putting a second layer of translucent color on top of a first layer, so it might give me a little mottled tone where I get more deposited color in some spots and less in others. I don't know. We're going to find out. Yeah, you see it's a little brighter in some places, but that's actually looking very cool. That makes it look almost like there's a shadow there, so I like that. That actually makes me really happy. And I'm going to take advantage of it. You'd see it in a few other spots, but right up here is where it really happened. And you can see how great the release on that foil was. So you can see that I only put foil adhesive on some of this pumpkin, And so it deposited very unevenly, which is what I was hoping for. I was trying to pick up like a little bit around the eyes a little, because it was a little patchy down there and I wasn't happy. But look how cool that is now. I've got that sort of two-tone look because I've applied 2 layers of sheer, and now it's not all the same all over, which I like. I'm good with that. All right, now let's go with our next one here. Let's get my colors here. I have one orange. I want to make sure I use the right ones because I know I had used that one. Okay, so we're going to put copper here. And this is our true copper foil. I just have to remember which ones I've used already, and sometimes I'm not good with that. I have the memory of a lost rabbit some days. Some days I'm really great. But again, travel makes that a challenge. Now this sign, once again, we primed it in Set Coat Dark Brown, then applied Artsyville foil adhesive on here. We did the first round, and now we're doing the second round of colors. This color is copper, and we're putting the not so pretty side down onto the adhesive, giving it a lot of love. Getting this down here, smoothing it out with my warm hands, which help the release out a lot. Now, speaking of warm, my dog is a jewelry thief, specifically a watch thief. I got home from the airport, unpacked, went to take a shower, and I knew I brought my watch in from the bathroom and I couldn't find it. And my husband and I searched everywhere, and I said, I know it's in the house. I mean, I saw it in the bathroom. I brought it out of the bathroom. Everything else I brought out of the bathroom is, you know, where it's supposed to be, so we'll find it. My dog stole my watch and was lying on it. He didn't chew it, didn't do anything else. I went to move him so that I could pull some things around, and I found the watch under him, toasty warm, and I know he moved it because it was under a quilt, and so was he. I had not put my watch under the quilt with him. My dog is a jewelry thief. It's very funny. It entertained me. Even if it doesn't entertain you all, I think it was fun. Let's see who else is here. See if anybody's got any questions. Hey, Donna and Beverly, thanks for popping in. Okay, so we've got most of our copper well adhered on here. I know you can't really see it on the screen, but there is an air bubble under here that is moving really nicely to show me that foil has been well released. I love seeing an air bubble show up under here like this, because what happens if I get an off-color air bubble, it means that the foil's coming back very clear and released really well onto the surface. So all this stuff that's sort of loose here like this that I can move, it's already deposited as much foil as it possibly can to the surface without a whole lot of work from me. I love that. It means our grab is really, really good. Okay, we're gonna peel back, and I want a little more right on that edge. Look how beautiful that is. There's a speck of something on there. A little speck of something stuck. So I'm going to see if I can gently pop it off with my scissor so I can release a little foil on there. Yep, that worked. But look how beautiful that copper is. And it's a nice contrast between these two oranges where I have the neon orange. Let me see if you're seeing this. I have to shift around on the camera so I know what you're seeing. All right. We have our orange shatter here, or orange confetti here. Down at the bottom, you saw the orange neon. So this copper is a nice contrast between those. And now we're going to turn the sign. And what's going to go in the middle here is our bittersweet orange. Now this is a matte orange. It's gorgeous. It'll make a nice contrast between these two brighter oranges. Oops, let me put the foil back with its stuff on it. So again, not so pretty side down to the adhesive. And this is a fabric-friendly foil, so you can use it on clothing as well. Actually, every foil on this side of the pumpkins, these were all fabric-friendly foils. On the other side, they weren't. Let me take a bigger, I have my bigger, heavier duty scrubber here, because I want to make sure I get a nice release. And pretty. Okay. Pretty. Again, nice contrast, a little bit on the matte side, slightly different tones. Now, some of these foils have a thinner carrier sheet. This one is a little heavier, so it's not going to go down into some of these little brush crevices as well as some of the thinner ones are. But you know what? We'll still get a really pretty result from it. So I'm just going to come back, lightly touch a few spots, see if I can get a little more foil in. But I don't want to scrub hard because I don't want to scratch what's already under there. So let me do something. Hang on a second. I touched up a couple spots that I almost forgot about earlier until I just touched the damp spots on the sticky spots on it now, because my orange confetti pumpkin right here had a couple places that I must have missed with the adhesive. So we're going to do this. Get that spot right there. There we go. I know, I felt a couple other slightly sticky spots. There's a little bit there. It's around the eye. The only way for me to know where I actually did this is to sort of rub my fingers over it and hope I find a sticky spot. There's that over there. And I think there was a little spot right there that I did. Yep. Okay, all done. So let me flip the camera up. I'm going to show you both signs. Okay, so here is our orange side of the pumpkins. Making sure you can see everything. Now, obviously it goes like this. I will be sealing this side as well. It's not sealed yet because clearly I just foiled it. And I'm probably going to be doing a little more design work on this. I think I'm going to get some glass beads, some mica flakes, and maybe just kind of make it a little more interesting to look at, because all those oranges can look a little flat even if they're incredibly different. And on the other side, you'll see we did lots of beautiful subtle metallics. So you've got very orange on one side, very neutral on the other. Now this one, you remember, we did lots and lots of fun colors on. We had the, which is this? This is the green confetti, the lime confetti, purple tie-dye, orange confetti, and razzle dazzle went here. On this side, we did all of these wonderful animals. So we have the Shiva snake here, wild thing, wild leopard, and Serpico snake. And we alternated silvery colors and goldy colors. Again, this one needs to be top coated too, which is what I'm going to do off of camera. Now, I may save the embellishing part of this with the glass beads and everything for you all to see. Sorry, my ear is tickling me. Oh, it's driving me crazy. Sorry. Ooh, that's annoying. I may save some of the embellishing for tomorrow, but honestly, it needs 2 days to dry. So I need to mix up some of my glass beads, and I will show you, though, some of the stuff that we're going to use. So give me just a second. Okay, we're going to use Artsyville glass bead gel. We'll probably tint some of this, but we're also going to use Artsyville gel medium, because if you look on my website, you'll see that we have mica flakes, and we have glass beads, and we have glitter, and we have all kinds of things that all can be mixed into this, and we'll get lots of fun ways to create a little extra ornamentation here on our pumpkins. Ultimately, my goal for that is going to be that it looks like this wonderful shadow created by accident. So, but I do need to seal these up first. They need to be sealed up so that when I start moving these products around on it, it doesn't scratch them. You don't always have to do that, but it's something I prefer to do when I have this much surface to work with, so I don't accidentally scratch up my foils and scratch it off the surface, trying to clean up and make a nice pattern with it. Now, I'm going to work on this in a little bit after I've sized these, top coated all these. I will be top coating these with AquaGuard satin. That is exterior rated, so these will be great for outside, but I do have to wait. So I will video myself doing this. I'll probably turn it into a short, and I will post it in the next day or so on how I'm doing the embellishments. All right, everybody, I appreciate you being here. Hi, Barbara Williams, nice to see you. I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for coming on so late with me. It is a big old chaotic mess here as always. Don't forget, we are coming towards the end of the month of September, but we still have the September product of the month, which is all of our transfers. We use the code TRANSFER20 to save 20% on every transfer on our website. And keep your eye out. We're going to be moving soon. This is where I got one more week where I can actually do a lot of work in here, and then we have to start cleaning up and really seriously packing up. And by November 1st, we will be in a brand new studio and warehouse space. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Thank you for being with me, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.